Hi there, my name is Shalini. I'm a travel blogger from Bangalore. So I take immense interest in understanding the story behind the ancient sculptures of India. Here, we are looking at one of the most famous sculptures in India, popularly known as the Descent of Ganges. This sculptural marvel is located at Mahabalipuram. It is a small town in the Kanchipuram district of Tamil Nadu. It was built during the great Pallava king Narasimhavarman around 640 AD. So what you see here is actually a 1400-year-old sculptural marvel. So it is actually an entire saga carved onto rock, which contains at least 126 individual characters in this sculptural panel, and the rock boulder into which it is carved is around 90 feet wide and almost 40 feet tall. So what is the story behind the this marvelous sculptural creation? So there are divided opinion among the experts. One group says that the panel depicts Bhagirath's penance to bring the holy river Ganges from heavens to earth. And another group of experts says that this sculptural panel represents the penance of Arjuna to, to obtain the deadly weapon named Pashupata. So let us take the first story and see how it fits into this entire sculptural panel. The center figure in this sculpture is a sage who is doing a penance. So let's just get a little closer to him. So this austere figure who is doing a penance on one leg in somewhat a yoga position is Bhagirath. Bhagirath is doing a severe penance to bring the holy river Ganges from heaven to earth. And he is trying to please Lord Shiva, who is depicted over here. So why Bhagirath is trying to bring the holy river Ganges from heaven to earth? It's actually a long story. I will go into it when at the end of this video. But for the time being, long story short, Bhagirath wanted the ashes of his ancestors to be washed in the holy river Ganges so that they will get moksha. So he is trying to please Lord Shiva over here. And in ancient sculptural conventions of India, gods are always depicted with more than one hands. So here you can see four hands of Lord Shiva, and in one of his hands he is holding a long weapon. This probably his trident, and in the other hand he is holding an axe. And also there are some smaller figures depicted over here. They are actually the attendants or ganas of Lord Shiva. And a guy with a face carved onto his belly over here, he is an important attendant of Lord Shiva. So Bhagirath is doing a penance, and Shiva is shown as his one hand stretched forward to symbolize that he is pleased with the uh, penance of Bhagirath, and he is ready to grant his wish. So this is the kind of important theme in the sculptural panel. Now let us go and look at the other characters in this sculptural panel. So as I mentioned, an important theme of the sculptural panel is the penance of Bhagirath. There is no doubt to that. But it is not the central theme of this sculptural panel. The central stage is actually taken by a fissure or a deep cut in the center of the rock boulder. So it represents the river Ganges, which is flowing from heaven to earth. So there are a lot of evidences to show that this is actually representing the river Ganges flowing. Now let us take one by one and see how it actually proves that this is the representation of river Ganges. So you can see on either side of this sculptural panel, all the figures are actually traveling towards the central fissure. And also there are two figures depicted over here. Let me just get a little closer to them. So this is the depiction of Naga people. So according to the legends, Naga people live underwater. So as they are carved inside the fissure means that this fissure actually represent a river, and this is a Naga male and is a Naga female. And according to history, before the archaeological survey of India had taken up this sculptural panel into its care, there was actually water flowing over here from an overhead tank on top of this. So due to the constant water friction, the top portion of this Naga had actually fallen off. So this shows that this particular central fissure is a representation of river Ganges. Now let us look at the other characters of this vast canvas. So there are actually celestial beings, humans, animals, and mythical characters, sages, serpents, jungle fowls, elephants. A lot of characters are depicted in this sculptural panel. Now let me take you to the top two figures over here. So I'll zoom to them. So just look at these two figures. So this is the representation of Surya, the sun god, and this is the representation of Chandra or the moon god. So both have raised their hands in veneration so as to praise river Ganges. Then there are a lot of another interesting characters over this sculptural panel. Let's go to the rightmost side of the panel. Let me go a little closer to them. So this is the depiction of a Kinnara couple. So Kinnara is a form which is half human and half bird. They are actually delicate creatures who are the celestial musicians. You can even see a tiny wing over here. So this is a Kinnara male who is holding a flute-like instrument, and there is a Kinnara female. She is actually holding a dumbbell kind of an instrument. So the word Kinnara in Sanskrit actually means ki nara. It's a question. So ki nara means is it a human being? So the name of Kinnara itself is a question actually. So here again you can see another Kinnara couple. So there are a lot of Kinnara couples actually depicted in this particular sculpture. Then if you come down, you see another curious figure over here. They actually represent Kim Purushas. So according to the olden Indian literature, Kim Purushas are described as an exotic Himalayan tribe. So they are kind of dwarfs with like usually they are depicted with a huge mane around their head, but in this you can see somewhat kind of a smaller cap around their head. So they are the Kim Purushas. So now let me just zoom out again and give you an overview of what we have seen till now. So here we have seen the Bhagirath doing penance. Shiva is granting his wish, and we have seen Surya, Chandra, Kinnara, and Kim Purushas. Now let us go and look at the other themes of this particular sculpture panel. So this entire sculptural area is divided in such a way that it represents different geographies. So the topmost portion represents the Himalaya. So there are very clear evidences that the sculptors wanted to represent Himalaya over here, because Bhagiratha actually did his penance in Kailasha or Himalaya, which is the adobe of Lord Shiva. And also you have seen the exotic Himalayan tribes are depicted over here, who are the Kim Purushas. Also some animals which are very specific to Himalayas are also depicted. For example, you can see here two mountain goats are here. Then you will have the lions with very huge manes. Probably they are also residing in Himalaya, and to get relief from cold they have a huge mane around their head. So many things are there which actually indicates that the top portion of this sculptural panel actually represents Himalaya. Now let me zoom out again and give you a overview of it, and let us go to another part of this sculptural panel. So when you come down towards the uh, down the towards this side of the sculptural panel, actually there is an interesting story going on over here. So this part actually depicts a scene from the jungle. So let me just zoom them. So here you see a lion ready to charge at two human figures over here. So this is a depiction of a jungle. These are actually hunters. One of them is carrying a bow in his hand, and other is also carrying some kind of a weapon. And these are the trees. So actually the hunters are trying to hide from the charging lion. And also there are like animals like monkey, hare, panther, antelope also depicted in this area. So there are also another like two human figures. One is carrying a pitcher and his face has fallen off, and another is carrying some kind of a weight. So this area is actually representing a jungle. So why the jungle has come into the picture in this sculptural panel? What it has to do with the Bhagirath's penance? So the ancient sculptors of India wanted to show that after Bhagiratha successfully brought the river Ganges from heaven to earth, how life was actually shaped along the banks of river Ganges. So it is well known that river Ganges is one of the most important rivers of India, and the ancient Indian life had a lot of connection with it. So the sculptors wanted to show how forest grew over the banks, how human beings did their daily work around it. And another important depiction of daily life around the Ganges is depicted over here. So let me just go to closer to that. So here you can see a small temple kind of structure. It actually depicts the Vishnu shrine, and there is a sage over here. He is probably teaching his disciples who is sitting here, and this may be the entire thing may be a setting of ancient Indian Gurukula probably. So and you can see some of the figures over here who are like doing their daily activities at the river near the river Ganges. Then you can see some of the animals. So here this part is also of interest actually. Here they have started carving some things like some animals and all, but as you can see, due to some reason or other they could not complete it. So this part also shows that they were about to start the carving over here. Probably due to some unknown reasons they had to stop the carving. Now let me take you to an interesting part of this sculptural panel. So these are the depiction of two life-size elephants actually. So this these elephants are actually moving towards the river Ganges in a herd, probably to drink water from the river. There is a funny thing over here. Usually an elephant herd is led by a female elephant actually, and also you can see some elephant cubs over here. So they are also like shown under this big elephant. Usually the elephant kids are like they move along with the female elephant. So why it became a tusker then? So this is funny part actually. Actually the tusk was not there when the public work department took this sculpture for restoration. So probably the ancient Indian sculptors wanted to represent a female elephant, and they finally the PWD actually fitted a tusk to it. It's probable, right? So that is another interesting thing over here. Now I'll take you to one of the very funny depictions in this entire sculptural panel, which shows that our ancient sculptors had a great humor sense. Here, if you closely observe, you can see a cat figure over here who is also standing in kind of a yoga posture doing a penance. So this is actually comes from a story named Jataka Tales, the story of Dandikarna. Dandikarna is a fraud cat who is doing a penance in a forest. So he is actually like a fake. He wanted to act like a sage and attract animals to him so that he can grab them and eat them. So you can see some mice over here. So I actually don't know why the sculptors have repeated such a story over here. Probably they wanted to warn the people against the frauds of this real world, or they wanted to add a little bit humor into the sculpture. So it's not very clear. So this is actually it's a very short description of some of the characters, and here you can see the celestial couples, maybe they are Apsaras and Gandharvas going towards the central fissure. And here, okay, over here you can also see some sages over here who is also, so they can be identified from their beard actually. And also there is some jungle fowls over here. So there are a lot of characters which are worth mentioning in this sculptural panel. So that is the first story of Bhagirath's penance, and how Shiva was pleased, and how river Ganga flew from heaven to earth, then how the life was shaped around its banks. The second story of this sculptural panel is actually that of Arjuna's penance. So Arjuna was trying to do a very severe penance to obtain the Pashupata weapon from Shiva. So even though there are a lot of evidence that the Arjuna's penance story may be fitting to the sculptural panel, but in my humble opinion, I felt that this story has more to do with river Ganges and Bhagirath's penance. So this is a small depiction of this entire sculptural panel. And now, as I promised, I will explain about the story of why Bhagiratha did this severe penance. So you can stop the video over here if you are already bored, or you can let's just get into that story. So the penance of Bhagiratha was actually due to uh, it comes from a very long time back. So the great grandfather of Bhagiratha was Sagara, an Ikshavu dynasty king, and he did a Ashwamedha Yajna once to conquer the nearby territories. So during an Ashwamedha Yajna, what happens is a king will release a horse into his nearer territories, and wherever the horse enters, the kings of those territories actually has to fight the owner of the horse, or they can subordinate to this horse. So Sagara, Bhagiratha's great grandfather, did a Akshwamedha Yajna. Then he released his horse. So if you know the Indian mythology, there is a god named Indra. He is the god of all gods actually. So he got jealous of Sagara. He wanted to capture the horse and hide it. So Indra hid the horse in the ashram of Kapila sage. So Kapila is kind of a very angry sage. So once the horse became absconding, Sagara's 60,000 sons went in search of this horse, and they found it in the ashram of Kapila sage, or the what do you say, the home of Kapila sage, and they started fighting with Kapila. But Kapila actually did not know Indra's plot or anything. So Kapila actually got very angry, and he cursed the 60,000 sons of Sagara that they turned into ashes immediately. So Sagara realized his mistake, and he begged for pardon. But Kapila was not in a mood to revive the Sagara's sons. He told, if the holy river Ganges touches earth from heaven, the all the sons of Sagara will get moksha. So Sagara, but the river Ganges is a very powerful river, and if it touches earth, earth cannot earth cannot handle its force, so earth will shatter. So for that, Sagara started doing a penance to please Lord Shiva, so that Shiva can carry this river Ganga or Ganges through his hair flocks, so that the power will be reduced. And Sagara did not succeed in pleasing Shiva, and all the ancestors, all the predecessors of Sagara also tried. So finally, it came to Bhagirath, who was hell bent upon getting Ganga to earth. So Bhagirath did a severe penance, and also in many of the Indian languages, there is a usage like Bhagirath Yajna, means the severe hard work somebody puts into achieving something. So this is the story of Bhagirath and why he wanted to bring river Ganges. And thank you very much for listening. I'll be back soon with another sculptural description. Have a good day.